grateful to have you with us today. And we're so excited to do another show. I am Arlene, your host. I'm a life coach and a business consultant. I specialize in the area of momentum, also known as peak performance, which means that I help you to move forward in your business, project, or endeavor. So what does that mean? So have you ever wanted to start a business, but you just haven't gotten started? You know what you need to do, but for whatever reason, you just haven't done it. Or perhaps you already have a business and your business is doing well, but you want to 10x that business. You want to take it to the next level, and you know exactly what you need to do in order to take it to the next level, but you just haven't seemed to do it. Or perhaps you have a project or endeavor. For example, you want to lose weight. You want to lose that extra 10 pounds. And you know you should eat the vegetables. You know you should get up and exercise. You know what you need to do, guys. But you just haven't seemed to do it. Well, you're not alone. It may also be launching a book, writing a book. Everybody has a book in them, even if they haven't written it yet. It's just a matter of really thinking about what it is that you want to write about. But everyone has had experiences that we can all learn from, and so everyone has a book. So what I want to share with you is a book that I have written. It's called 10 Secrets to Overcoming Fear and Getting Unstuck After COVID-19. So guys, we've all been inside, we've been locked up and padlocked in, but now, hopefully, depending on where you are, things are getting better. And so the likelihood of us getting back to normal and moving forward is pretty big. But because we've been stuck for so long inside our homes, we now need a jump start in order to move forward and get that momentum going. And so I'm really excited today because we are going to be talking about another one of those steps, another one of those secrets to getting what you want. So we've invited some of our Mastermind group members to join us this evening on the show. And we've invited some of our life coaches, our Mastermind life coaches, to join us on the show. So they'll be coming in and greeting you and saying hi and letting you know what their areas of expertise are. And I'm going to be sharing for the first part about one of our secrets to moving forward, getting unstuck, and getting what we want. So the first secret that we talked about in week 1 was clarity, getting clear. And one of the key components of getting clear, we said, is not so much writing down all the things that you want, which is what a lot of people talk about, being clear about what's out there and what you want to come to you, what you want to attract to you. But one of the key areas that we talked about, or key tips that we talked about in terms of clarity, was actually getting clear in here and getting our insides right. Because in order for us to be successful out here, we have to first be successful, confident, and clear in here. Keeping in mind that whatever we are is what we're going to attract. So we may say, I want a successful business, or I want to make XYZ amount of money, $1 million in my business, or 6 figures on my job, but you're cheating. You're cheating, and you know that you're cheating on a daily basis on your taxes, or you're cheating on your friend. You're supposed to give $10 at the gas station, and instead of giving 10, you gave 9 and you got away with it. You know, the gas station attendant didn't realize. So inside, you know that you're not right. You know that you're not doing the right things. And so internally, you're out of order. But yet you're trying to attract millions on the outside. And it's going to be challenging because whatever you are on the inside is what you're going to attract. And I hear people saying, oh, well, there are lots of millionaires and there are lots of successful people who are thieves. Well, that may be true. But you're asking me how to get what you want. Why haven't you arrived at what you want? What are some of the tools and techniques that we can use in order to get there? And so this is one of the key things that we can do in order to get there, get right on the inside. Because if we want to attract good things, we want to attract the wealth, we want to attract the successful business, we want to write that book and go to the next level, then we've got to get right on the inside. So I just want to tell you a quick story about that first step in terms of clarity. So I've told you guys my story a couple of times, so I'm not going to tell you right now again, but I wanted to write a book for about 3 years. So my mom passed away, and I decided that there were some concepts that I wanted to share that helped me to move forward after her passing. And I just didn't seem to get started on it. I knew what I wanted to write even, but I just didn't seem to get started on it. I would talk to people about it. I would say, oh, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to put this together. I've got to really help other people to, who have maybe been distressed by a death in the family, or who have had a loss of a job or some challenge that has caused them to not move forward and be where they should be. So they've always been successful. They know about being successful and moving forward and taking action. But for whatever reason, in this particular season, in this particular time, with this particular project, such as writing a book, I just couldn't seem to do it. So guys, I want to tell you a secret in terms of clarity that helped me. It took me 3 years to write this book, and I couldn't write it. But then one day, during the coronavirus, I sat down and I wrote the entire book in about 3 days. I wrote the book. And so it begs the question, how were you able to accomplish something in 3 days that you couldn't do in 3 years? And it was very simple. The secret was that I got clear about my why. Why was it that I wanted to write the book? I started to think of the people whose lives could be changed, touched, moved, or inspired as a result of reading about my experience with the death of my mom and how I was able to move forward. And immediately I was able to sit down and just freehand start writing the book and start writing the message. And guys, before I knew it, within a couple of days, I would go to sleep, wake up, and I would just finish writing it. So it took me about 3 days. Wrote the book. So if you have a desire to write a book and you just haven't gotten started, I would encourage you to get in contact. Let's talk about it. Let me help you to move forward with your book. Or let's say you wanted to lose weight and you know how to lose weight, because most of us know, eat more vegetables, eat less fat, exercise more. In here we know it, but we just haven't seemed to get started. And so what you may need is a little bit of help from a coach, a consultant, someone who can help you to move forward in that area. So one of the coaches that we have on, and we've had her on the show a multiplicity of times, is a health and fitness coach. And she has me get up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8:30 in the morning, and we just work out. We work out. We work out over the internet. So there really is no excuse. It's not like you have to go to a gym. It's not like you have to, jump through hoops. We actually work out right on the computer in our own homes. And it's inspirational because I know that somebody is there waiting for me to get on. So she's just sitting there waiting. If I don't get on, then, something's missing from the process. So if it's weight loss, and that's the situation that you want help with, we invite you to contact us and let us help you to move forward in that particular area. So whatever the project is, many times we need a coach to help us to move forward.
I'm New York City Health Commissioner Oxidis Barbeau. As the city's doctor, I have an urgent plea on behalf of all New Yorkers. Stay home. When you go out, you risk contracting or spreading coronavirus to others. You put others at risk of serious illness and even death. When you do have to go out for essentials like groceries or medicine, try to keep at least 6 feet between yourself and others. By staying home, you save lives.
Now, I know that you've done a lot of work around wealth building. Like you talk a lot on your show and in your programs about investing and putting your house in order. Can you give us some tips that you think would be helpful to us in terms of gaining better financial remuneration?
So asking for a raise or increasing your fees, all those are ways. Most people need to ask for more money by proving that they're a really valuable employee and asking for a raise. If you own your own business, You need to deliver services that are of value and have the right target market, the wealthy enough clients that you can have high fees. So you need to make sure that you're delivering sufficient value that your fees are worth it. So usually if you run your own business, that you need to look at how can you raise your fees? Do you need to have a different target market or offer a higher end product or more volume on a lower end product? So lots of different ways that you can become wealthy by generating more income. But I love having property as an investment. So personally, I like houses and I've used property to create wealth. So I don't think there's one right way to become wealthy. You just got to kind of keep your focus on that goal.
Okay. If you don't have an excellent relationship with money, perhaps you are like the average person who may have had thoughts in the past about unworthiness, and you want to transition to that space where you do feel worthy and you do feel like you're not needing to, but what's an appropriate word? Because I don't want to say you need to come into the money. So what's the appropriate word? You are, I don't even say
Desire.
desiring to come into that wealthy space. What are some things that you can do in order to get that better mindset?
Well, I'd say just start saving with what you have. Start investing what you have. If you've got $15, $10 extra that you can set aside each week, then automatically have that debited from your account and put it in a Vanguard investment, vanguard.com, and an index fund, low cost mutual fund. Pop it in there and you'll start to create that wealth. So it's really important. If you want to be wealthier, start saving now with whatever you have. And sometimes people save dollars and coins in a jar and then take that to the bank at the end of the week. Fine, whatever you have to do, start now because you've got to build that savings habit early on.
Let's say you have your business and you've started with your funnel and you've done freebies in the past, and now you want to transition from doing the free coaching calls or the free product giveaways to charging. How do you transition those particular customers who've been accustomed to coming on your calls for free, receiving your groups for free, and now you want to transition? How do you do that?
I think that's where you have to offer that service. So, you might have, for example, free come to these calls for free. But then if you have something private, and say if you like a private call with me, this is how much it would cost. So you've got to offer something different. You can't just say, okay, well that's done now. Most people give an easy way to sample your services for free, like a first month free or a free half-hour call with a coach to make sure we're right for each other. And then they ask for the money. So you give a small sample so that people feel, yeah, I want to do this and commit. And then they have to commit and decide. And when you're a new coach just learning, you might give a very large sample of free because you need to practice more than. But as you get more experienced, a half an hour free call is pretty standard in the coaching industry to just make sure you connect with your client.
Now, because I've read your books and I've listened to you quite a bit, I know that you used to have a coaching group, a group of people that were coaches and wanted to do better in their coaching. How do you think that people today should transition in terms of becoming self-sufficient in their coaching practice? So is it a 10-year, well, hopefully it's not 10 years, but is it a 1 year to 3 years, or is it 5 years based on what you see happening now in the climate? So some people are even saying, oh, well, coaching is dead because of the climate that we're in. Others are like, no, it's a great time. So what do you say time frame wise to
I say it's
transition?
a great time. We're busier than ever with the coronavirus because people are looking at their lives. They're saying, wait, I don't want to carry on in this job. I don't want to go back to work, or I've been laid off. I can't go back to work. So I need to find out what's the right thing for me. So we're really busy right now because people are in transition. And maybe they've stayed 3 months, 4 months with their significant other and decided, no way am I sticking around with this person, right? After that much time. So,
Right. There's a lot of loss, a lot of
yeah,
but then it's a great time too. You notice people are getting engaged left and right since Corona, because now
yeah.
others are being pushed together that found true love. So how long do you think it would take on average, based on what you know about coaching, before you could be viable?
Well, I would give it 2 years. Any business you want to, in the beginning, the first 2 years is really, it took me 2 years just to get trained up. And so you think the first 2 years is training, getting practice clients, building your skills. And then after that, you should be moving into professional, 1 to 2 years. But any business, to really get known as a professional, I think you should figure 2 to 5 years as a time frame. Because by 5 years, people should say, oh yeah, go to Talane, she's a good coach. You can start getting referrals. But it takes time to build up that professional reputation. You have to be working at it.
And are you a believer in niche coaching, or do you, as you said, I've heard you say in the past that you had a broad brush in terms of the types of clients that you bring in. So which do you recommend?
I recommend that you niche yourself. Yes, because it's so much easier to market to a niche market. So if you say, I know a coach who specializes in coaching people who have had head injuries. How about that? Coaches who specialize with people who have ADD, coaches who specialize with, recently divorced or about to be divorced people, or, so you definitely specialize, have a niche. It's so much easier to get your clients. I did not do that. And that is much, much harder. Life coach is really broad. We want to coach all sorts of people. It's much easier to market for a very specific targeted niche. So do that. That's what I recommend.
And in starting, I'm sorry, what was that last part?
I said I did it the hard way.
Oh, we don't want the hard way. We definitely want the easier version. So do you recommend doing the courses, or do you recommend one-on-one coaching? Which one do you think is going to be more lucrative in the initial?
Do one-on-one coaching. Get your skills up. Not everybody is good at group coaching. Group coaching is different. I don't enjoy it as much as one-on-one coaching. Other coaches prefer the group coaching. So here's the thing, as a new coach, try everything. Try some group coaching, see how it goes. One little tip on group coaching, make sure everybody's in the same patch. If you're coaching, coach single moms or coach business executives, but make sure that their business is all like in the right range. You don't have somebody with a $50 million business in with a $10,000 business. Coach people in the same group, make sure they have the same issues. Otherwise, it'll be really hard to coach them. So, group coaching, try it, see if you like it. Do one-on-one coaching. Don't niche yourself too soon. In the beginning, experiment with who you're coaching. I had one person who started coaching. She was a lawyer, and she started coaching people to be personal trainers and build their businesses, and she loved it. So she ended up niching in personal training, even though she was a lawyer and everybody said, oh, you should coach lawyers. Well, she didn't want to coach lawyers. She was sick of lawyers, So sometimes we say, oh, I should coach lawyers because I was a lawyer. Well, maybe you won't like coaching lawyers. Maybe you want to coach musicians or artists, So in the beginning, coach as many. This is why I say coach 100 people, then niche.
Okay. Now you are a speaker as well, because I've heard you speak at colleges and other venues. You're an author and you're a coach. How do you, in terms of your branding, present yourself, or what do you recommend that you place first in terms of your branding and how you present yourself to people? Because you don't say, I notice in your material, it doesn't say speaker, teacher, author, da 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 da. So tell us what you think is the best for you.
So I lead with coaching because that's my favorite thing.
Because it's your favorite.
Yeah.
That's simple.
Yeah. Lead with your favorite. That's what you want, right?
And then they just contact you for the other things that you do.
Yeah. So I speak, everything's related to coaching that I do. So all of my books are coaching related books. All of my seminars and speaking is coaching related. So I don't talk about history or, I talk about coaching. So everything is about coaching. So that's how I can do it and have all these different things going on, because there's the umbrella of coaching in it, and it's all related to coaching. So I can do all sorts of different things and it's still coaching related. That's why it works.
Okay, that's excellent. That's one of the things that I recommend to my group, this concept of specialize or die. But then at the same time, I realize that most people are doing other things, many other things. So I notice with your materials, it's unique in that I very seldom see speaker or these other things. I see just one area presented, even though I know that you do all these other things. So that's awesome. Thank you for helping us with that in terms of our own branding and in terms of what we're putting out. Knowing that you're a coach and that you've counseled and coached many other people who want to be coaches, what do you think is one of the major challenges that you see with coaches in terms of preventing them to be successful?
I think a lot nowadays people don't spend enough time. A lot of coaches I see don't hire a coach first. So if you can hire a coach first to work on your own life, get your own life in really good shape first so that you walk the talk. Then start coaching other people. So people just want to be a coach, but they don't want to do the work in their own life. And that's where, Coach Yourself to Success. It's all about doing the work in your own life first. Then you effortlessly attract the clients that you want. And whether it's a coaching business or any other business that you have, you do the work in your own life so that you can then attract effortlessly what you want.
And if there was one thing that you would say that you've done that was the most impactful in terms of your own success and getting to a place of clarity and achieving the goals that you have, what would you say was that thing that you've done that was most
Well, getting the coach training. Well, I would have to say the first step, hiring a coach. Because from there, everything else fell into place. From there, I took the coach training. From there, after that, I wrote the book that was my best marketing tool. I got the life coach domain name because of hiring a coach. He said, oh, go get a domain name, So I got that. So all those things, but it all started with hiring a coach.
So there are so many coaches out there. And even in my group, there are very many people who are coaches. And we have people that we have identified as mastermind coaches. So they're leaders within our group. But how do you know how to pick a coach or which one is the right coach for you? Because there are so many people and they're all wonderful people. And you'd love to be able to work with all of them. But financially, it's just impossible. So how do you know who to pick?
I think you should pick somebody that you're really excited to work with. Somebody who challenges you a little bit that maybe you're a little bit afraid to work with so that you really work hard for them. Pick a coach that has you. I think I would go back to when I was in high school and my English teacher, I had one English teacher who made me work so hard and I got so much out of that. And I was a little bit afraid of him because I didn't want to disappoint and I was a little bit of fear. But with coaching, you've got to be excited and looking forward to the calls. I hear people say, oh, I was dreading my coaching call. I said, what? You've got to love your coaching call. You've got to look forward to it. And yeah, maybe I didn't do all my work. You should be a little afraid too. But you should know that your coach isn't going to beat you up or harass you or anything, that they're going to make you feel good about yourself every single time. Now, sometimes we have really challenging conversations and I have to tell the truth and it's hard for people to hear and that's difficult. But generally, all the calls you leave really upbeat, really motivated, really energized to take action. So at the end of a coaching call, you should feel, yeah, I feel good about myself and I feel ready to move forward. That's when you have a good coach. And I don't care, if anybody who can do that for you, they're worth paying.
Definitely, definitely. So having dealt with people who are very challenging or challenged in terms of moving forward, what is it that you say to them to give them impetus to move forward? What's one thing that you usually know works for them?
Well, I get them to do the tiniest thing possible. So we start in Coach Yourself to Success. Again, tip number one is get rid of your petty annoyances.
Right.
So you think, oh, I can't wear that blouse because it's missing a button. So go sew on the button. Those little pesky things that annoy us. So nobody can say to me, oh, Talane, I didn't have time to sew on a button, right? So just do one thing. Yeah, sew on a button. Get those shoes that are run down in the heels, get them repaired. Get the black gunk out of your shower. Do that stuff, right? Yeah.
And
That's
if
what
we
we
don't have the finances in order, sometimes it's a challenge to accomplish some of those things, which is why you haven't done it in the past. So how do you then move forward to transition into accomplishing some of those things if that's your challenge?
do the things you can afford to do. Start with that. It creates some momentum. And then be willing to attract the other stuff for free or a little money. So maybe you have a friend and say, oh, actually, I could do this for you. I'll iron all your clothes if you fix my balcony or whatever. Trade, barter. If you don't have the money, barter.
Okay. That goes back to proximity, getting around the people who are doing the things that you want to do. And then you'll see how they're doing it.
Yeah. And if you're not around the right people, get into a different group.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, on the internet, you can join just about any group, right?
Excellent idea. With the internet now, we can be a part of any group that we want.
Yeah.
So if you want to be one of those wealthy people and you want to attract that kind of lifestyle, what would you recommend as far as a group that you could join in terms of the World Wide Web? Where would you go? Where would you send the people?
Well, I think you got to do what you might like doing. For example, maybe you could take golf lessons at the kind of exclusive golf club or something, right? You know, yeah. If I figure out, you're going to figure out where the people that you want to meet are going, and go there, whatever your local community looks like. And if it's online, I would say you can usually take an investing course where you get to interact with the other people. Because
Excellent.
people with money, here's a little secret. People with money want to know how to invest and manage their money well. So they take investing courses. And it's usually, so as a woman, you'll be standing out. So that's my best tip if you want to meet a wealthy guy, because people who don't care about investing don't have any money.
Or people who don't have any money don't care about investing sometimes.
That's right. That's
Okay.
the way it is. I guarantee you. If
Excellent.
people have money, they care about investing.
Care about how to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we don't have much time. Our time is far spent, but we have truly enjoyed you being with us today. Would you please be so kind as to join us again on the show at another juncture?
I'd be happy to. Look forward to it.
Excellent, excellent. So is there anything that you'd like to share with us before we close out?
I would just say the tip number one, start in the beginning. Do something really easy. Get rid of a petty annoyance. Get your emotional needs. Find out what your top 4 emotional needs are. And doing those 2 things will get you started on the path to be more attractive. And you'll start to be irresistibly attractive to the people and opportunities you want. Just those 2 things are a good starting point.
And
Really
what
good.
book have you read that you found to be the most influential in your life?
What book for me?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, too many. I can't. There's so many books. I can't pick one. I would have to say the coaching materials and like the coach training material books. Those have had to have been the most influential in my life. All the coaching materials that I learned.
Okay. Anybody that you'd recommend?
Well, they're the textbooks. So let's see, it's called the Coach You Personal and Corporate Coach Training Handbook. It's a textbook. Yeah, I can go get it. I'll show you.
And while she's going to get that, I just want to thank you all for joining us today. This is the book that she is recommending, the Coach You Personal and Corporate Coach Training Handbook by Coach You Inc. Excellent. And it's a very thick book, so you're going to be
all that. That is a good book.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. And we hope, like I said, to be able to see you again. And for all of you listeners, I want you to continue to join us next week at the same time on Thursday. And also, if you're not already a part of the Mastermind group, please make sure that you sign on with our Mastermind group, and all the information for myself and for Miss Miedaner will be on the show at the end. So thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.